In November of the 5th year of Kansei 1793, 16 members of the merchant ship Wakami Yamaru were on their way from Ishinomaki to Edo when they were caught in a sudden storm, and washed ashore on a small island in the Aleutian Islands. There, the castaways were rescued by Russians, and after spending 7 years in Irkutsk, in 1803, they had an audience with Alexander I in St. Petersburg and asked to return home. Same year, 4 castaways left Kronstadt Port in the Gulf of Finland with Rezanov and his delegation, and arrived in Nagasaki in September of the first year of Bunka 1804. During their voyage, which lasted 1 year and 3 months, these castaways became the first Japanese to circumnavigate the globe. The book, Kankai Ibun Seagirt Strange Tales, was written by Otsuki Gentaku, a Dutch scholar from the Sendai clan, who compiled the results of an inquisition of the castaways as their eyewitness reports. It is an unprecedented and unparalleled event in the history of the world that the castaways circumnavigated the globe, braving the rough waves of 90,000 ri, and returned to Japan. This is a strange tale that has not been heard of for 3,000 years since the creation of heaven and earth. This is the reason why I named the title of the book which I was commissioned to compile, Kankai Ibun, Seagirt Strange Tales. Translation from Japanese into English. The temples are all made of stone. The content of what the castaways said about the interior and exterior of the buildings was rambling and difficult to understand. I had a copperplate engraving of European temples in my house, and when I showed it to them, they said it was roughly like this picture. When I added to and corrected the picture, it looked like this. This is not a true representation of the Russian temples, but it may give you an idea of the general style of temple construction in that region. The New Year is called Inuvari. On New Year's Day, there is a festive ceremony in the houses. From the 2nd day to the 49th day, throughout the country, both the rich and the poor, and the high-ranking and the low-ranking purify themselves by abstaining from eating meat. From the 1st to the 7th day after these 49, a large religious feast is celebrated in the country. It's called Karasutozen. At this time, men and women spend all their time in idle amusements and do nothing. People on the street exchange painted eggs each other. When his partner says, Kolestos, os Kirs, Kyrist is risen, he responds with, Isteno, os, Kirs, truly risen. Presents his eggs and kiss each other. This kind of behavior is to be done in the street, and there is no distinction between high-ranking and low-ranking. However, they should never be performed with people who are not of the same religion. It seems that this is a pledge that does not change in the same religion. Karasutozen means the day when the main deity, the Buddha founder, resurrected to a new life. During these 7 days, bells are rung incessantly in temples, so much so that one cannot hear what people are saying inside or outside. I heard that there were various large-scale festive ceremonies in the royal capital. At this time, criminals are released from prison. They build a rotating cart that can carry people and attracts spectators. People come to see this cart and also enjoy riding it for themselves. People give money to criminals for entertainment. This kind of act is a charity for the criminals and also seems to be a recreation for the people. This device is a rotating square box on which a large number of people ride, and even when the box is turned around and around, the people always remain in an upright position and do not topple over. On the day of this festival, the Doyosho, The great Buddhist priest performs his service wearing a splendid costume and a religious cap hat given to him by the Tsar. According to local people, the festival means to celebrate the resurrection of their Buddha ancestor on the 50th day after they had remained dead for the previous 49 days. Translation from Japanese to English. We were shown a play in this palace. The theater room should be equal to 10 ken, about 18 meters. Block off all sides of the theater, plunge it into complete darkness, and then light an abundance of candles to make it as bright as daylight. On this day, there were no other spectators, only the royal family, their attendants, and the castaways. The emperor's seat was right in front of the stage. As a signal of the Tsar's arrival, flutes and drums were played on the stage, and the Tsar walked in rhythm with the sound. In front of the stage, musicians lined up, playing instruments such as flutes, drums, koto, and Chinese fiddle, following the person who held a book. A curtain with various pictures was drawn on the stage. The plot of the play seemed to depict various countries. The stage set changed every intermission, and it didn't seem like a continuous story. When acting out the home country, everything was in the style of the home country. There were people wearing Japanese straw sandals. It seemed that in the past, the local people also used straw sandals. When acting out the country of the black people, they imitated the houses, and both men and women painted their faces black, and their costumes were all in the style of that country. Male actors portrayed male roles, and female actors portrayed female roles. Unlike Japanese actors, men did not play female characters. They instantly changed from old men to young boys on stage. We didn't understand the language, but the whole scene seemed to be no different from the plays in our country. The dance was performed by 15 men and 15 women, divided at both ends. If the emperor was moved by the performance and applauds, it seemed that the other audience had to applaud as well. The name of this king is Petersburg. The name of this land is Irkutsk, which is due to the presence of the statue of Boloichi. The birthplace of this Tsar was a place called Urazimer. Gradually expanding his territory and ascending to the throne, he acquired this land of Petrofulka and established a new capital city. This Tsar once saved the common people from calamity by slaying a white snake which brought a curse. It is said that this statue depicted that very moment. The Tsar was skilled in a variety of arts and crafts, and even learned the crafts of the lower classes as he traveled around the country. He then delivered the items he had made to a large temple called monastery. Shipbuilding is also said to have begun during the reign of this Tsar. Furthermore, many craft workers struggle to earn a living due to the multitude of tasks they do. Without adequate clothing and sustenance, it becomes challenging to perform well in their jobs. I heard that the Tsar had personally tried out and experienced the work of artisans, and established the amount of wages and the laws according to their jobs.